SPSJ Kids, thank you so much for joining us after what's been a crazy week. For instance, has anyone heard about all those goats that are loose in Llandudno in Wales? They're eating the plants, they're bleating everywhere, they're bleating so much the police are having to chase them. It's crazy. All these goats. I love goats, don't you? You can stop with the goat noises. That's enough. Okay, well anyway, if it's been your birthday the last week, happy birthday. I want to give a special birthday shout out to my mum, and it's her birthday today, and I hope her flowers have come in on time. We've also been having some wonderful rainbows that have been sent in to celebrate key workers, people who have been keeping us safe, people who have been caring for us at this time. They've been on windows everywhere and so encouraging. We've had loads sent in. We're going to have some of those now. So here's one sent in by Lisa who says, "Here is Ruby's rainbow and hello from North Worcestershire. That looks wonderful. I love the arc." One sent in by Jenny. She says, "My 4 children made this yesterday to say a big thank you. That is so fantastic and giant, with such an encouragement to everyone passing by." Andy, the vicar, and Claire have ones in a vicarage window too. Great designs made with their 5-year-old son. So good. Vicky sent in this with saying, "Luke reminding everybody how to stay safe with his rainbows of love." Well, Luke, we love your rainbows of love. They are colourful and amazing. Naomi sent this in saying, "Gabriel and Peter made this rainbow for our sitting room window." That's wonderful. What a lovely thing to put in the window. Well done, Gabriel and Peter. Danny sent in Grace and Noah's rainbows. Wow, look at all the different versions. Beautiful. Here's a really nice one in pastel shades sent in by Neil. So good. We love it. Sarah sent us in some fantastic paintings by her daughters and son, including this amazing colourful gradient. And this rainbow crying happy tears. Isn't that great? And finally, a very tasty cupcake rainbow sent in by Rachel. I would love some of those right now. So good. We also had this rainbow at the end of 2018, just before Messy Church. Do you remember, over St James Church? So we love rainbows. Thank you so much for sending all these in. Keep them coming for next week. We love rainbows. We love how they're a sign of God's promises. They're a sign of hope, a sign of hope and peace and love in all that's going on. So these rainbows are a way of us fighting for love, fighting to make this world a more loving place. And so now we're going to have our first song. A favourite from last week may still even be in your head. Fighting for Love. So let's have that now. Feel free to sing along and dance. Oh, almost forgot. Oh, just back. Who was that crazy person in that video? Oh, what's that? Oh, I still have it on. Oh, just pretend you didn't see that, okay? So now we've got a story. You've been having a great time fighting for love, and so we got a story about someone who also was fighting for love, called Gideon. We had the first bit of his story from last week. Now I'm going to tell you a version from this book you might have seen from Open the Book, which continues the story. So let's listen to this together. Gideon, God whispered. Oh, Gideon, God called. I need your help, you brave and mighty man. But Gideon was nowhere to be found. As a matter of fact, he was hiding in a pit his father used for crushing grapes. You can't be talking to me, Gideon stammered. I'm no brave and mighty man. But God knew what he was doing. He always does. You're the man, all right, God said. The Midianites have my people surrounded, and I want you to round up an army to stop them. Gideon did what God told him. And to his surprise, over 30,000 men agreed to join him. Gideon, God whispered. Oh, Gideon, God called. You have far too many men. I want you to send some of them away. But there are more than Midianites than I can count, Gideon stammered. I need all the help that I can get. But God knew what he was doing. He always does. I am all the help you need, God said. So tell the men who are frightened to go home. Gideon did what God told him. And when he had finished, there were only 10,000 men left. Gideon, God whispered. Oh, Gideon, God called. You still have too many men. So here's what I want you to do. Gideon listened to God's plan. Gideon stammered and shook. Then he led his men to the river and told them to have a drink. Some soldiers got on their knees to drink. Gideon sent them home. Others scooped up the water in their hand and lapped it up like dogs. Woof, woof, woof. Those are the soldiers Gideon kept. And when he had finished, there were only 300 left. Gideon, God whispered. Oh, Gideon, God called. Now we are ready to fight the Midianites. But there are thousands of them, Gideon stammered, and only 300 of us. How can we possibly win? You can't, God said, not without my help. And that's what I want you to see. Now listen, here's my plan. Later that night, Gideon led his 300 men to the edge of the Midianite camp. In one hand, each soldier carried a trumpet, and in the other hand, an earthenware pot with a flaming torch inside. There wasn't a sword in sight. At Gideon's signal, the soldiers blew their trumpets, and they smashed their pots, and they shouted, "For the Lord and for Gideon!" I'm going to leave it there. So you have to come back next week and see what happens. Does he win the battle with only 300 men? You'll just have to come back and see. Now we're going to have an animated version of that story by Superbook.
Men of Israel, the Lord said, you have too many warriors with you.
Gideon, have you gone mad? We need as many men as possible!
Larger numbers will serve us best in battle!
The Midianites have thousands! More men, not less!
Listen to me! The Lord went on to say, if all of us fight the alliance of Midian, Amalek, and all the others gathering with them,
The Israelites will boast to me that they saved themselves by their own strength. Therefore, tell the people, whoever is timid or afraid,
may leave this mountain and go home!
What do you mean? Are you sure this is the right thing to do, Gideon?
there are still too many. Bring them down to the spring, and I will test them to determine who will go with you and who will not.
Why do you think Gideon's called all his troops to the stream?
It must be some sort of training exercise.
I bet it's a test of stamina. Maybe they'll have to race across the river and he'll keep the strongest.
Or see who can hold their breath the longest underwater.
Everyone must drink from the stream.
Huh?
Drink from the stream?
Divide the men into two groups. In one, put all those who cup water in their hands and lap it up with their tongues like dogs. In the other group, put all those who kneel down and drink with their mouths in the stream.
I do not understand how Gideon is going to determine which men to get rid of based on this test.
300.
What?
Only 300 drank from their hands. God has told me, with these 300 men, I will rescue you and give you victory over the Midianites. Send all the others home. Arise! Arise! For the Lord has delivered the camp of Midian into your hand. Give a ram's horn to each man. Give them all pitchers with torches to put inside. When we get to the enemy camp, spread out and surround it. Then wait for me to blow a signal on my ram's horn. As soon as you hear it, blow your ram's horns and shout, "For the Lord and for Gideon!"
So what's the message of that story? Well, it's the idea that just like Gideon, we can't do much on our own. But when God works through us, he can do a lot through us. So what's our main weapon when we're fighting for love? Well, it's prayer.
Prayer!
And I don't know what you've thought about prayer, but when we pray, we talk to God. And when we ask the all-powerful God, he can do amazing things through us. On our own, we can't do much, but when we pray, we tap into the amazing power of God, and he can do wonderful things through us, just like he did through Gideon. So, we're now going to have our prayer activity together. So our next activity is a prayer and a craft combined, and it's called Prayer Flowers. No, not that sort of flower. These are flowers that open up on the water. So what you need is a piece of blank paper, it can be any colour you want, some sort of pen, some scissors, and a bowl full of water. Here's one I filled earlier. So the first thing to do for prayer flowers is to get your sheet of paper and then to very carefully, getting help if needed, cut out a little square, just like this, keeping your fingers away, about the size of your hand. And then on this prayer, we're going to write or draw, or both, a prayer, a thing we hope for that's going to open up when we put it on the water. So I think I'm going to draw a nice little dove here. And what do doves often represent? Well, world peace. That's what we really need. And then do a little olive branch. I know olives aren't usually blue, but never mind. There we go. My little dove. You can put whatever you'd like, anyone you want to pray for, anything you want to pray for, yourself or someone else. Then once you've done this, very carefully fold in the corners into the middle, just like this. But when you crease, don't crease too hard, because we want it to be able to open up. So there we go, carefully do that corner, that one as well. And there we go, now it looks a bit like a diamond. Now this is the really exciting bit. So you get your bowl of water, put it on a surface that doesn't matter if it gets wet, and then, once you're ready, put the prayer on the water. And watch it open up. It's a bit like a sign that God is hearing our prayers. And here's a few I made earlier too. Let's put those on as well. Look at that, they're opening up just like flowers. And we'd love you to send in your own pictures of what you've written down on your prayers. What are you hoping for and what are you praying for? And just like flowers, they open up as God hears them. So what we've got here is people to know that God is near them, hope for all, praying for my friends, and praying for love in all the world. So there you go, do as many of those as you want, and remember to send us some pictures.
We want to see your pictures and videos to include next Saturday. Send to our Facebook page or email curate@spsj.org.uk. Attention! Time for Andy's boot camp.
Yes, sir! Alright everybody, here we are. It's the Lord's Army's boot camp, and you need to get up on your feet, because we're going to get exercising now, ready to be Lord. So get those arms stretched up high, and just stretch out already. Get those muscles working, because we're going to do a workout now, and we're going to do it to this song together. We're going to be in the Lord's Army right here, so you need to get up. That's you as well, I can see you. Come on, up off your feet, and you're joining in with us right now. Are you ready?
Ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never zoom all the enemy. I'm in the Lord's army. I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! Oh, I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never zoom all the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! March in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never zoom all the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never zoom all the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! Ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never zoom all the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! I'm in the Lord's army.
Yes, sir!
Thank you so much for joining us for SPSJ Kids this week. Please keep sending in your rainbow pictures and send in pictures of those prayer flowers on the water opening up and what you did with them, and maybe even a video of them opening up for us. We'd love to show those next Saturday when we are on again at 9 o'clock or on catch up. We'd love to show them and celebrate what you've been doing, so please send them in. And I hope that you have a wonderful week and know that God is with you, that He hears your prayers for fighting for love. He hears your prayers and He has a wonderful plan for you and has great plans to do great things through you. So thank you for joining us and see you again next week.